What did Creative Assembly do this time around? As Total War Warhammer 3 is yet again, I think, is this the 4th or 5th time it's hit mostly negative on recent reviews, to the point where the game in total has now fallen to mixed, which I think is again for the second time. And honestly, the answer to the question, what did CA do now, is really the same as the last time. Now, the specifics do differ somewhat. For example, the current backlash is largely over, well, one, this review, from a person with 3,831 hours in-game. So this comes from one of the big modders of Total War Warhammer, who has, amongst other things, been fixing a lot of Creative Assembly's lazy fucking mistakes. As he talks about here, the textures for races coming from the old games are oversaturated and look like garbage, still covered in red dots in some areas, yet CA they are still there. I fixed these textures manually by hand over the last year and offered to give the textures to CA and told them I want no compensation, and they said no, it would increase the file size too much. Or the Skull Muncher issue, where CA flat out said it was impossible to fix. I fixed it in 5 minutes. That is a big one, as again CA has demonstrated for the umpteenth time that they don't give a shit about you. I mean, I really do think that point should have sunk in by now, but it's kind of flared up yet again, as CA's big problem and drama is that they are this company that do nothing right. Genuinely, they don't do anything right. In the development cycle and the creation of new games, they've been striking out repeatedly in the addition of DLC, in quality control. CA's monetary policy is predatory as shit, and yet they put out just enough good stuff, and they've built up so much goodwill that it's forgiven again and again, to the point where I also love this, because the modder was interviewed for PC Games and said, I love the series. I don't hate the CA devs. Randall emphasizes, I don't want anyone to think I'm doing this out of hatred or spite. I post my review because I'm frustrated. Well, there's the problem right there. You see, hatred is a very good emotion. It is a virtuous emotion that has sadly gotten a bit of a bum rep recently. CA pretty much does deserve to be hated at this point, honestly, as I was looking through the forums, and there are some very good points of, like, you guys will be back to eating slop within 3 months. Yes, that's one of the problems, that you get what you tolerate. The thing is, community is also partially to blame, absolutely so. Total War Warhammer has got, what, $300-400 worth of DLC now? They've downright defecated on the community again and again. CA has abandoned DLCs, they've abandoned quality control, they've abandoned entire games, even after directly promising for there to be expansions like Three Kingdoms, and yet somehow it's still tolerated. It baffles me. Especially also considering, like, it feels like the only moments when CA receives some backlash, then promises change and never actually delivers, is after one of these conflagrations. Now, at the moment, we've got two going on at the same time, with our Legend of Total War also quite famously deciding to retire from the YouTube game over his frustrations with Total War and Warhammer. But he's also been throwing a fair few fiery torches on his way out as well, amongst other things revealing that Creative Assembly ran a paid content creators program for beta testing, and considering the current state of the game, I think we can confidently say that there wasn't a whole lot of bug testing happening there. These people, and he names Lomas of Sotek, I think his name was? Yes. I had a run-in with him years and years ago also. Not a good individual, in my opinion, who was a part of this program. And if you are receiving a paycheck from Creative Assembly to fix their game and you do nothing, you are a marketing intern, and you cannot be trusted. Creative Assembly have no doubt done this with quite the number of content creators, and we even know that even to get into their content creator program, you've got to bend the knee to a pretty gosh darn significant degree. But Faustian bargains really are rarely worth it. Legend himself spent quite a time trying to bend the knee, but well, he couldn't. Not for any serious length of time anyways. He actually had enough moral fiber to the point where the chains that dragged him down eventually became too much to bear, causing in all due likelihood the mental anguish that resulted in his eventual retirement. Whereas other people, like Sotek for example, are blissfully unpossessed by such feathers of morality. The simple fact is, again, you get what you tolerate. Creative Assembly has produced shit for a very long time, and fortunately, a fair few of their shittier titles have indeed flopped, significantly so. Total War Pharaoh, which was a rather sad little addition to the series, did not do very well at all. Very deserved. Unfortunately, CA can still apparently milk a nearly infinite money stream out of Total War Warhammer, and hey, I get it. Even back in the day, I even defended the idea that this would be a game with a lot of DLC. I argued that, okay, the Warhammer world is huge. If you're going to do it justice, you're going to have to do a long-term payment plan for it. But even then, I didn't expect them to be selling the game 3 times at full price and then adding on additional DLC. Yet, even then, I called out a $60 expansion pack. I was like, oh no, they have to earn money. I called out the cut content from the original title with Chaos Rising. Oh, they've got to earn money. Creative Assembly is a company that has been desperately overdue for a very strident sticking now for, what, 5, 6 years? 7 maybe? And until they've actually received it, they will not change. Total War Warhammer is currently their cash cow. It is what allows them to stay alive. Now, we are going to have to wait and see what they have to announce in December, as that is probably when a new wave of Total War games are announced, and the rumor says anything from 2 to 3, and the problem is, I even know that if they announce Total War Medieval 3, despite myself, despite the fact I know they need the stick, I will still be excited. If they announce Total War Victoria, well, they could pretty much break into my house, dig up my dead cat, and create a drone of it and fly it through my house with a laugh track, and I'd still probably forgive them, which is the fucking problem. That is the goddamn issue. As CA sits on such beloved franchises, and we all remember how good it used to be. We all remember how amazing Medieval was, to the point where if they simply just hold it up underneath our noses and say, hey, maybe this time. It's an abusive relationship. I mean, hell, it happened with Rome too, and okay, to be fair to Creative Assembly, Rome 2 released in the worst state imaginable. Actually non-fucking functional, but they did stick with it over the years, patching, adding, changing, and even giving a great deal of free content, which is something they're sort of doing with Total War Warhammer, but again, you see the degradation. In Rome, they had a goal, a roadmap where they'd eventually be finished, and they were continuing to develop the game to prove that, okay, we're not complete fuckwits, we'll give you your product, it'll be 6 years after release, but you'll have it. With Total War Warhammer, every new edition seems to break yet more things. With recently, the thing that made Legend quit was the reintroduction of an old recruiting bug that stems back from fucking Empire, I think. Creative Assembly genuinely needs to be boycotted for a significant period of time. It's to the point where God, I remember when I first started talking about this, and like, I don't want Total War games to fail, I want CA to do better. I've arrived at the point now, finally, where I'm like, I hope the next game fucking flops. I hope they make Total War Medieval 3. I hope it is literally unplayable, dumps down on the market, burns CA's reputation to the fucking ground, to the point where they just barely survive on about 100 employees, absolute top, so down 600 from their original strength, and then rediscovers their passion from making games, as genuinely, I don't think anything short of an Armageddon-level failure is going to teach them any lessons. This is the same company who, even like this here, well, the guys, I give you the textures, I've done the work, I can hand it to you. Creative Assembly has a long history of doing this. The creator of the Darth mod, probably the single most popular mods back in the day, came to their office and said, I will work for you for fucking pennies, and they told him to go fuck himself. Because CA are goddamn jealous little pricks too. They're the worst kind of jealous little pricks. The jealous little pricks that are incompetent at what they do, but will not allow those who are better at it to fix their mistakes. Anyways, I'm like a week late on this, and nothing's going to change with CA until their studio is actually on fire, yet I felt the need to rant. Until next time, I've been Arch. Thank you all very much for watching. I do hope to see you all again soon. Have a good day.